dive right in. Alright, we're starting very strong with Mad Eye Moody. Listen, Mad Eye Moody is a really good character, alright? The way he's described, and I think the way the movie did justice to him in a way, is just that he's so unique. You know, he's got scars, he's lost a leg, his eye is very, very unique. A little bit overpowered, I think, but just really unique. It's not often that you get these characters that are seen as a mentor and a role model that are often disfigured and just generally not pretty or, you know, anything like that, but they're still seen as a mentor, as someone you want to become. So I think that's really, really cool. Love him. I mean, yeah, may he rest in peace. Next we have got Albus Dumbledore. I don't like Albus Dumbledore. I don't like him as a character. I don't like his morals. He has made some very, very questionable decisions and choices in his life that I 100% do not agree with. He is a very complex character, and I understand kind of where he's coming from, but I feel like a lot of his choices, one, were quite avoidable, could have been another plan, and two, just aren't good choices in general. You know, like it's just not doing it. I don't think he's a great person, and I think although his character is complex, is well written, you know, he's one of the main characters, I do think that I just don't agree with him most of the time. So, alright, next we have Filch. Not a lot of character development for him. I do like Mrs. Norris. I think, you know, it's always great to have a cat with you as a companion. He's a cat person. I can respect that. But he's just a sourpuss, and I'm afraid that's where he goes. Alright, Arthur Weasley. We gotta put him in a really good character. We do! Come on, first of all, he's a Weasley. But I think Arthur really embodies the passion that I think a lot of people would like to have. You know, he is just really obsessed with muggles. He loves them. I think he's really easy to shop for Harry and Hermione, which I think is hilarious. And I just think he's just a good person. You know, he knows where he stands, and he stands there unequivocally, just unapologetically. He knows where his morals lies, what his values are, and I can really respect that. I think he's a really, really good character. Let's see. Barty Crouch Jr. Don't like him. No. Well, not just for being a Death Eater. I really think that there's a lot more going on there, especially like within the family, that we weren't told either in the books or the movies. I think his plan was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. The whole try was a tournament Mad Eye Moody plan. It worked very, very well. He's not a great character, not a great person. So, Barty Crouch Sr., I'm afraid, goes right next to his son. I think this goes both with the fact that he didn't even realize what was going on with his son. There was just so much of a just lack of awareness that I think is very, very dangerous. And I also think his actor played his role way too much. Like, when I watched Try Was a Tournament and Goblet of Fire for the very, very first time, he made me very uncomfortable. So he's just going there. I think it's a mix of actor who played him and his actual character that puts him down there. Bellatrix Lestrange, oh man. She goes into a good character, she really does. Like, I understand that she's evil. Like, probably if I was ranking these in terms of like good versus evil, she would way down here. But I mean, as a character, she's not particularly complex, but I think the fact that she just is so devoted to the cause that Voldemort has, and, you know, being a Death Eater and everything, she's so devoted to it that I think it's just interesting for a female character especially, and she's just crazy. You know, you gotta respect that in a way. Is she an absolutely horrible person? Absolutely. But I do think she was a good character. I enjoyed reading her. I loved watching her in the movies. Every time she was in the books or she was on screen, it was always very engaging. You like couldn't really take your eyes off her. You never knew what she was gonna do. I was upset with her death in the movie. I thought that was a bit strange, but still a really good character. You know, she's just crazy, and that she embraces it. Let's see, Bill Weasley, once again a Weasley. That makes the decision pretty easy. He is the oldest of the Weasleys, and I think kind of like same boat as his father. He just kind of like knows where his values lie. He knows which side he's going to be on, and he's willing to fight for that side unapologetically. I mean, he got these scars fighting Fenrir Greyback, and there was never a part of him that doubted that this was the right thing to do, that this was what he's going to be doing. You know, he never backed down, and you can really, really respect that. We get to know him a little bit more in the books. He ends up marrying Fleur Delacour, and which is really, really cool. I love that, actually. They're actually one of my favorite couples in the Harry Potter universe. And yeah, just a good character. I enjoy him. We don't see him a lot in the books necessarily, but definitely a lot more than in the movies. Cedric Diggory. Oh man, I mean, he's got to go into really good character. You know, he could be there simply because we meet him in Goblet of Fire and we say goodbye to him in Goblet of Fire. So we don't really see much of him. Like, we don't see him grow as much as we do with some other characters. But honestly, like, first of all, he's a Hufflepuff. You gotta respect that. And secondly, I think he really stands for a lot of what we wish a lot of the houses stood for. You know, he was smart, he was brave, he was caring. We can really see that how he cares because in the books, especially in the third book, he's actually the Seeker, and when Harry falls off his broom because of the Dementors, he actually really wants, he catches the snitch and he really wants to call off the game, say like it didn't happen, and they just wouldn't let him. So you can see he's really a fair, generous person outside of everything else. And you know, I think he was very gracious in the fact that Harry was taking his spotlight. I don't think that's how he saw it, but I think generally he's just a good person, and we lost him too soon. His impact was huge, and I've got to give props to the actor for Amos Diggory in the movie when he finds out that he's died. Oh, that scene hits me every time. Just brilliant acting, and yeah, he's a good character. Cho Chang, she is okay. You know, there's nothing really special about her that would make her into like a really good character. I think she gets a lot of backlash that is unnecessary. I think a lot of people forget that she's 15 in Order of Phoenix. She's 16 in Order of the Phoenix, you know? 15, 16. They are they're teenagers. You know, and she's just, I mean, she was dating Cedric beforehand, and she's just lost him, you know, in a horrifying way. Her parents are really, really putting a lot of pressure on her because they're part of the ministry, and she's just a teenager. She's a little bit crying and all that kind of stuff, sure. She's very emotional. I mean, who wouldn't be? Honestly, at that age with what happened. And in the book, she's actually not the person who tells on Dumbledore's army. It's a friend of hers. So yeah, we'll give her grace where it's due. Colin, man, good character. He is like he's a Harry Potter stan before all of us. He's just naturally, he's really great. He's very excitable throughout the series, especially the book series. We see a lot more of him in the books. His little brother comes, and like his little brother fell off the boat into the lake, and the Great Squid like picked him up, put him back on the boat. Colin couldn't care less. He was like, don't care about your story, that's Harry Potter. I mean, honestly, if we were in Harry Potter, relatable. And he actually snuck into Hogwarts. He was too young to be part of the Battle of Hogwarts. He actually snuck in just to be part of the battle because he believed in it that much. And you gotta respect that. I mean, come on. Cormac. I'm hovering between here. But I think, honestly, I'm gonna put him at he's okay. Is he a bit egotistical, a little bit full of himself? Sure. But I mean, he's very smart. He comes from a good family. Again, these are teenagers. You know, you can't really judge them too harshly. So I'm going to put him okay. We don't really know much about him. Doesn't have a great redemption arc or anything like that. So we'll put him there. Fudge, however, goes where he deserves. I do not like him. You know, he was just blatantly blind to what was going on around him, and that not only put Harry in danger and Dumbledore in a very dangerous or uncomfortable spot, but I mean everyone. He was the Minister of Magic, and he put everyone's lives in danger, and that's not something that you can be doing in a place of power. You can't be blind because you fear what's happening either while you're in power or just in general. That's not how it works. You've got a responsibility, and he did not do anything right, I feel, throughout the movies or throughout the books. Dean, I feel, is a good character. I can get behind Dean. He doesn't have, again, you know, we see him a little bit more in the books. But overall, I think he's good. You know, he has it really tough in Deathly Hallows as well. He's a half-blood, and he has to go on the run because they start looking for him. Again, you know, he knows where his values are, even as a teenager, like the rest of them, like Colin, like Cedric. He knows where his values lie, where his morals are, and he fights for what he believes in, and what he believes in is Hogwarts. It's Harry. So, you know, very, very cool. I think, yeah, he dates Ginny Weasley, which immediately, like, increases his coolness levels, especially in the books. So, yeah, good. Dobby. I'm not gonna put him at S tier. I'm gonna put him into a really good character. You know, like, I adore Dobby. I think he's hilarious in Chamber of Secrets. Heartbreaking. It's like, when I was younger, it was genuinely hilarious. Now that I'm older, I'm like, that is funny. Like, it's made for comic relief, but like, it's also kind of really dark. So we'll put him as a really good character because he's great. But his whole story, everything about him just breaks my heart, and it's tough. Alright, let's see, Dolores Umbridge. Easiest decision on this entire tier list. Hate him or her, no explanation needed. Thank you very much. Draco Malfoy. I am under the impression, and I will probably die on this hill, that Draco Malfoy did not have a choice. It goes back to, you know, like his family, they're all Death Eaters, they're all loyal to Voldemort, so even if Draco knew what was happening was wrong, wasn't necessarily anything he could do about it. Was he a bit of an A throughout the series? Absolutely. But I don't think that it is his be-all and end-all of his character. You know, I think there's so much more, and we really, really see him grow, especially in Half-Blood Prince. And you see him really struggle with this. It takes a physical toll on him, the stress and everything, and I think in the end, he does get a little bit of his redemption. Still a little bit cowardly, you know, he could have stood up in Deathly Hallows, but in the end, I think it's a compelling story. So, listen, I get it. He was a kid, and I've been giving the teenagers a lot of, you know, benefit of the doubt, but come on. I know he gets a little bit of a redemption arc in the end, but by the time that you're in Order of the Phoenix, you should know better. You should definitely know better. And I mean, he's a spoiled brat when he's younger. No thanks. Flitwick is cool. He's the charms professor at Hogwarts, and yeah, we don't really know a lot about him. He's talented. He's a talented wizard, but we don't really get to know more about him. He fought, obviously. He's very talented. He's powerful. Yeah, he's good. He's cool. Fleur Delacour goes under really good character. Okay, obviously most people know her from being in the Triwizard tournament. I'm talking about Goblet of Fire a lot. My goodness. That's where most people know her, but as I did state earlier, she actually gets married to Bill Weasley, and they end up meeting and they have the wedding in Deathly Hallows, and it's lovely. And when Bill gets injured, she actually says the most, like the best line, probably one of my favorite lines in the whole series. So Molly Weasley is not the biggest fan of Fleur, and once Bill gets injured, Molly actually says to Fleur, oh, I guess you won't want to marry him anymore, because she thinks Fleur is very like superficial and that kind of stuff. And Fleur says, why would I not want to marry him? I am beautiful for the both of us. I'm just like, yep. That was really great. I enjoyed it. Awesome. Fred and George Weasley are going to be my first S-class love him or her character or characters. I'm going to purposefully say George and Fred because they are individuals and they just, oh man, they're just great. You know, like they bring so much comedy to the series, sure, but they bring so much passion as well. And it's not just about their pranks and starting a business, which of course is amazing and great, but it's also their Quidditch and their friends. I mean, like, they had to be held back when one of their friends were insulted because that's how much passion they have for their friends, and it's really, really cool to see. But yeah, they're powerful. They're amazing wizards. Can you imagine that all the inventions they came up with? They have to use some really advanced magic for a lot of those inventions. So even if they didn't do great in like their owls and whatever, they're amazing and I adore them. And I'm so sad Deathly Hallows just depresses me. Just have to think about it. Ginny is a really good character. I think she's really cool, especially in the books. She ends up becoming a Quidditch champion. She's a professional Quidditch player, which I think is really, really cool. And she's just really cool in the books. You know, she's clever. She has a lot more input into what happens, especially in Half-Blood Prince. And she's a lot more involved, which I think is really, really cool. It shows you her bravery. She's willing to do what she believes in, which I think she gets a lot from her parents, both of her parents. But yeah, just really, really cool. Harry Potter, I will put into really good character. I struggle with him now that I've grown older a little bit. Just, you know, how difficult it is for him. And I think it frustrates me as well a little bit that there was so much better for him that they could have done. That goes back to Albus Dumbledore and his questionable decisions. The show is a really good character, obviously main character, protagonist of it all. I loved the journey with him. I think it's, yeah. Hedwig, I mean, again, pretty simple. I don't think there's an explanation needed. She loved Harry so much. She really did. Hermione, really good character. I think the thing, she's my favorite of the trio, but I think the thing that stops me from putting her here is just how ruthless she is. Like, she has got no chill at all, and I both love that, but I'm also like, it's ruthless. Like, genuinely, you could look up like Hermione Granger ruthless moments in the book, and I'm pretty sure you could make quite a long video regarding that. So she goes into a really good character. Slughorn, I'm going to put into, I think, okay. I could put him in here. I mean, I don't have a problem with him necessarily. I think he's really cool. He is influenced a lot by his image. He wants to be around influential people, which of course is nothing wrong with that actually. He is like one of the very few Slytherin characters that we meet that isn't immediately like evil or anything like that. He just wants to be ambitious, and that's what he is. He's ambitious. It's the ambitious part of Slytherin that he really embraces, and you know, great, that's perfectly fine. Be around your influential people and have fun. Go for it. I mean, Karkaroff kind of goes there. He's a Death Eater. He does horribly for Durmstrang. I mean, he just keeps trying to teach them dark magic and everything, and I'm so glad they kicked him to the curb. So yeah, I really like him. Oh, James Potter goes into the he is okay category. I don't think he's a good character, really. First of all, he dies very, very young, which I think the films don't really represent very well. He dies at 21 years old. Like, the actor in the films was way older, or at least looked way older than that. And I think that impact doesn't hit a lot of film viewers. But he was a bully. And there's no getting around that. I do think he has a redemption arc. I think Lily brings out the best in him. But he is a bully, and you can't really call it anything else. He had his heart in the right place. You know, if we're talking about things like Arthur Weasley and Bill Weasley that I talked about earlier, he knows what his values are. He is 100% on the side of good. But I still believe he's here. I do think he just, I don't know. The bullying really got to me, and also I think he is very much a thing of he's doing the right things, but maybe not necessarily for the right reasons. You know, it's very difficult, especially when they're younger, when you don't have that kind of as in-depth look as we do with the trio of what their intentions are, but they're not as one-dimensional as, say, Bill, where we know he's on the good side, we know why, it's great. He's kind of got that complexity that makes me unsure. But yeah, this is part 1 of my Harry Potter character tier list. I will be doing a part 2. You can see some of the characters that are coming up. I've got a few more like Ron and Remus and Hagrid also coming up. But yeah, subscribe, follow for more. There will be a part 2, and I will see you there.